Welcome, everybody, to another Happy Lunch and Learn. Today is March 31st, 2025. My name's Robert. We'll get started here in a couple minutes. I see a bunch of people that are already joining. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join. We'll get started here, like I said, in just a few moments. If you do have any questions, feel free to go ahead, put it in the chat, the QA, raise your hand, anything like that, and we will try our best to take orders or take questions in the order in which they were received, which I guess is taking orders as well. But like I said, we'll get started here in about 2 to 3 minutes, just giving more people kind of time to kind of line in. I see a bunch of you have already joined. Welcome. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to join. Hopefully we can get some answers for you. Hopefully we can get some information for you. We got plenty smart people on your side of the line, the patrons of the Lunch and Learn. We've got a couple smart people on our side of the line, the hosts of the Lunch and Learn. So we'll get started, like I said, here in about 2 minutes. If you do already have a question or something like that, like I said, feel free to just raise your hand and you'll get first dibs, or you can put it in the QA if you want me to read it out. If it's easier for you to consolidate your thoughts that way, whatever's easiest for you, it's easy for me. So we'll get started here in just a few moments, probably when my clock says 12:03, which is in 2 minutes. But like I said, populate chat, populate QA, populate your hand raising, and we'll just take them in the order which they're received. If I don't get any questions, I got plenty of cool things I can show you anyways. So there's plenty of new updates in Decisions world that I can share with you. And we'll kind of get started. So Jeffrey, you'll go first. Done. He'll go first. So at 12:03, we'll start with Jeffrey's question, and then we will work our way through whatever anyone else has. Like I said, I do like to give folks a moment to get in here, just because they might be finishing up, heating up their lunch or whatever it might be. But in less than 60 seconds, which will be 12:03 on my clock, we'll get started. And thank you guys again. One, maybe not the last time, but thank you again for taking time out of your day to join. It is cool. Yep, more and more people are joining. Thank you guys all for joining. For those of you that are just joining, feel free to populate the chat, the QA, raise your hand, anything like that. We're going to start with Jeffrey's question first because he was the first one to raise his hand. We're going to try and take questions in the order in which they're received. But we'll get started. It's 12:03 on my clock. So cool. We're about to get started. I do have a couple things I want to say. I know you guys hear these spiels all the time, but we have some new things that you definitely, almost certainly don't know about. And they're kind of located on the bottom of the slide I'm sharing right now. One is we are bringing the Decisions product roadmap review back. So if you want more insight to what the roadmap is going to look like for future Decisions releases with our development team and the folks who are responsible for those processes, we do have a live webinar you can sign up for on decisions.com/events. That's going to be the product roadmap. We've got it highly requested to come back. I've done a lot of release note stuff, and people are always requesting to kind of see further on down the road. Here we are giving you more insights. And the second one at the bottom is also exciting. And you might think, oh, I've already done Submerse, or I know what Submerse is. Well, this is a new Submerse kind of experience. We're not doing the purchase request project. We have a whole new project developed by the great Gregory, the train team, that is a whole new build out. So if you've done Submerse in the past, this one will have new information for you. Yes, are we still covering core concepts? Yes, we are still going to be kind of talking about stuff from an introductory perspective, because that's what it's for. But it is, like I said, a whole new project that you haven't seen before that is really great, with some API stuff, and just kind of revamped for the modern Decisions user experience. So again, that is this Decision Submerse May 5th through 8th. You can also sign up for that on decisions.com/events. So decisions.com/events has lots of great stuff for you. All right, so I gave you my 1 minute spiel. We're at 12:04. Jeffrey, I'm going to unmute you. Thank you all for your patience and for joining. Let's see what we can figure out here together. So Jeffrey, whenever you're ready, I think I have you unmuted. Feel free.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Great. Awesome. So my question is related to creating a library, like an SD, using the SDK to create a library for a flow that I'm working on. I would like to create a library such that it can take a list of anything. It doesn't really care what the type of the list is. Take it, perform an algorithm on it, and return a subset of that list. Um, and I struggled a bit with I am still struggling with trying to figure out how to take that as an argument from from uh, from decisions.
Mm.
I I can see I can like the documentation shows me how to do it with simple types, native like strings, ends, etc. But when it comes to list of say entities or built-in native um, decisions types, things like that, I haven't really seen a good example of how to just take a generic list of something as an argument and do something and spit it back. Spit back another list. Is there any way you could help me with that?
Yeah, let me see if I can find some stuff for you. I can tell you straight out the gate. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. Yeah, let me see what I can find on our internal kind of do a little bit of research. It's a fairly clear-cut question, and I'm sure we do have some use cases. Whether how well it's documented, I'm not too sure about, but we do have folks from the documentation team in here, and they could take that feedback and be like, "Oh, we kind of need to flesh this out." So let me read a little bit here while we're kind of going. And if anybody's got any insight while I'm reading, feel free. Um, so we're trying to do more complex things. All right, give me one more moment. Um, Still doing a little bit reading here. If we want multiple, so I'm reading a ticket right now with some solutions. That's kind of like my go-to is find folks that have asked a question and then kind of like parse our backend that obviously is not on
Yeah,
our documentation site that we have access to. So I'm just
yeah.
kind of reading
I
here.
I looked through the forum and I might have missed something, so I apologize if I have, but I didn't
No,
know
no, no. This is
and
a
then
more yeah. The forum is fairly sparse. Like I'm like looking through like all of our like actual support tickets, like
oh,
stuff that
I
no
see.
one would have
Okay.
access to, and like people working through like what the resolutions are. Customers and documents.
And I checked GitHub as well. That there are examples out there, but it didn't quite find the use case that fit what I needed.
Hey Greg, I'm gonna send you something. Tell me if this makes any sense to you.
I'm taking a look.
Are you looking at the one from in support dev,
Oh
Ozzy?
no. I mean, like whenever you send it to me, like
Oh,
I'll be
cool,
ready. Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so Greg was on support for a while, so he's better at reading these support tickets than I am. Uh, is that related? Because it's entities created via SDK. I know that he wants to do more than just an entity, maybe an object or framework
Yeah,
stuff,
like
but
similar to how the fetch entities step works. You just click it down, you click
mhm.
the drop down, and you just pick any kind of object and tell it it's a list, and it processes it. Similar to that, I don't really care what type of list it is. I just need to be able to take a generic, a list and then process that list and return it.
So where in the process are you able to get any type of connect? Like where are we starting from? Are we starting from
I
like kind of square one, or do you already have it
pretty
mostly working?
pretty close to square one.
Okay.
I've got a an SDK, like a project, create in Visual Studio. I just can't figure out how to configure it. I guess it's a data consumer. I can't figure out how to configure it to take a list without having it strongly tied to something, right? I want to be able to just say, hey, give me a list. I don't really care what type of list it is. You just give me the list. I'm going to do something with that list, and I'm going to return a subset of it. So it's really, I'm kind of at square one trying to figure out how to declare it as an input, you know, into my step.
I'm looking right here.
Yeah, I'm still click-clack paddywhacking as well. Ooh, I see a Gregory Goldston SDK ticket.
That might be installation SDK versus there's like two sides of that. One, how do you actually build the stuff? And two, how do I make sure that my SDK gets into decisions properly? I usually handle the latter ones, but yeah, I'm looking into this. It looks like the doc you sent me is talking about the SDK, but it sounds like they have a specified type in theirs. So it would be a little bit different of an ask. Let me see. They do list the ORM basics documentation for this though, and I wonder if that, let's see.
The name, I could create a class.
That's also specifying you have to specify the object completely. Hmm. I might end up posting it to our devs. I'm not seeing anything that's immediately kind of giving the key. I wonder if it's related to how uh decisions handles objects. Can you
Yeah, of
Rob, in your
course.
instance, can you pull up a flow of some sort just in a
Yeah.
project? I'm gonna drag over a step and kind of show what we're looking for a little bit here.
And for the viewers, if seems kind of clunky, it's because I'm on a fairly unstable version of 9.9. Because 9.9 is coming out in a week, and I'm doing testing and building out processes. So let me find what do I have lunch on. Nice. So if you're like, man, it's running slow for him, it's because yeah, we are unstable right now. Let's call ORM processes. All right, Craig.
Let's see. Search JSON. Where is it? Where is it? There's something. There's something there called object. I don't see it. Uh, Drag over the get JSON pairs, get data pairs for JSON properties, kind of near the top-ish there. Yeah, drag that over. Let me. This is not how to do this, by the way, but this is kind of specifying. Oh wait, this isn't it. This is not the right step. Can we search object in the search bar instead? Let's see if I can find this. Where is it? Ah, cast object to type. Grab that. That's it. All right, cool. Look at this. So it's a source type of type object, right? Where it doesn't really know the properties associated with it yet. That's kind of what we're looking for, I believe, Jeffrey, is similar behavior to where you know that it's a list of some type, but you don't have the type specified and you need it to be able to dynamically adapt to whatever that type is to get the subset, correct?
Right, right. I tried using like iList or, some generic, but it just didn't seem to fit very well. But yes, that's it. Basically, to give you a little more detail, I'm going to take whatever list that's given to me, I'm going to serialize it to JSON, and I'm going to do something with it. So I don't
Okay.
really care what's in it. I'm just going to do something with that list.
Gotcha. Does that subsection occur before the serialization, or are you just trying to like get the result? Is that the subsection we're looking for?
It'll happen after the serialization.
After the serialization. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'm not sure if this cast object to type is necessarily going to work because that type to try is not dynamic because we would want to be able to kind of identify it, right? There are other flow steps that have this behavior where they alter and adjust to the type. For each is a great one, right? You just pass that in, it automatically adjusts to whatever the type is.
Right.
I'm not sure how to set this with the SDK. I'll reach out to our devs and figure out if it's possible through the standard ORM basic memes, like, like setting that up through there as maybe to type object instead of to something else. Because there's a way that this gets populated dynamically. So the platform feels like it has the capability to do this. I'm just not sure how.
Okay.
Yeah, let me reach out to them and figure that out. I'm not certain. I haven't worked with this particular ask before.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for your help. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
thank you.
course.
And like I said, I'll make sure to follow up with you. I'll kind of have Gregory do some conversational stuff because like I said, he can speak the language and get the answer quicker than I can. But I'll make sure to follow up with you. So
Okay. Thank you.
apologies on maybe not landing on something concrete, but hope QAs.
No worries. Thanks.
What is the order here? Okay, so Marla will be next. Marla, thank you. Apologies if I didn't see that earlier, but is it possible to create a report from a truth table output that uses the build data option, or create a report from a create data step that also uses the build data option, which pulls in the first match of the truth table output? Let's talk about it. I think that's something that I should be able to figure out potentially. So Marla, I got you in there. If you want to kind of talk through some of that use case stuff, again, I can kind of read it. Create a report from a truth table output that uses a build data
Yes.
option. So is that the data that you're trying to report on? Is it a structure that lives in decisions, or is that data only existing in the flow?
It's, I'll say it's existing in the flow.
Okay, that's a good question. And you want the report to have permanence, or you want the report to output as an Excel, like you want the report to live it. So the data is in the flow, or sorry, the data is in the flow, but it's not necessarily in decisions anywhere. And you want to create a report so that you can later reference on it, or do you want to create a report in the
Yes.
moment so that you can make an Excel, so you can store it?
Um, well, we didn't think about storing, so we're just trying to get it to a report, and have it, make sense and just get, um, just get the details from the truth table output. Because we can see it, we just can't get it to a report to make it make sense for an end user
What
as a
what
report.
and your truth table is outputting a list of what? What
Um,
a built-in
they,
structure, or
um, it is, the output is, I'm trying to describe this as simplistic as I can.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, when you do you have if you have it up, what does it say right here on your outputs list of what?
oh, okay. It's an, it's a list, obviously. It's an, I am not doing a good job with this.
No, you're doing fine.
Are you looking for, it's just a response, and a list. Um,
Is it probably
There's no bool.
strings of text?
No. It's in the truth table. The I'm clicking on mine on my end. I am building data on each row.
Okay, so if this happens, there's a build data of some type of structure. What's the structure that you're building data on?
It's multiple fields of data. So
If you hover over default output data
so
and you
we
click, yeah, go ahead.
it is a we created a data type. So my
Mhm.
output are the fields from that data type. Does that
Cool.
make sense?
Absolutely, yeah, 100, no,
Okay.
100%, 100% does. Yeah, it's just with there being some build data, there's the it's implying that there's a structure because that's what your build data
Yes.
is going to do. So do you happen to know what type of structure that is? And I can maybe do a little bit more framing here. Like if the data is not stored in decisions, it's probably a flow, but it might be any number of these. Um, do you happen to know by any chance which one it is?
No, and I can't get there fast enough. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, you're all right. We got a whole, yeah, there's not many questions and we're working our way through it. So
It's a defined data structure.
it's a defined data structure. Okay.
And
So it
within
would,
that, there's
mhm,
multiple rows.
mhm.
Some are bools, some are strings, some are numbers. So it's a variety of fields.
Yeah,
Quick question, is this database stored?
it's not, is it,
Not right now, no. We wish. I wish. That would make my life easier, but
it's giving a couple different things. I've added a Boolean, a string.
that works. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just kind of working our way through this, just kind of uncovering the build paradigm. All right, so now we got a structure. I probably should, I guess it's too late to, I already renamed it. Sorry about putting your name on there.
That's all right.
Okay, so let's go back to report from flow data. It's not going to be stored in there. Now that I have the structure, I should be able to output this. I should be able to go here. I should be able to type this in as long as
Yes,
it composes.
exactly. I just
All
wasn't
right.
doing a very good job explaining it. So
Well, no, it's hard. It's super hard setting it out. Oh, Vitali gave us an answer here to a question. I'm imagining it's for the ask by Jeffrey, but Jeffrey has already left. But I'll look into that, Vitali, and I might even ask some clarifying questions to you because I know you've got it like that. All right, so let's say hypothetically, let's just give ourselves some constants here. Let's just say, does the initiating user email contain something? And then we'll just go down
right.
one path. Contains what? Does it contain decisions.com? And then
That
if not,
works.
does it contain gmail.com? It'll always go down decisions, but at least we know we're getting a little bit of a framework here. Here we're building data. We're saying,
Hmm.
okay, so if the user email comes in and has decisions.com, this is what I want to output. And then you want to basically
Exactly.
make a report of this.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, let's call these apples. Are they perishable? Yes. Purchase date, let's just say today, current date time, just for simplicity. Gmail, we'll make this build data. We'll do constant. We'll call this laptop. Does it expire? No. Purchase date. We'll also make it current date time. All right. So so we should be getting. Let's just test before we move any further here. We should be getting some type of package of information out of that structure type database. Boom, boom, boom.
And I did it
Okay.
that way so that way I didn't have a bunch of statement rules.
Yeah.
That's why I created the
Mhm.
truth table.
All right, so we're trying to report on this. So this is outputting a list of yours. So let's see if we can do some reporting here. I'm trying to think if we want to look at it later. So, because the structure inherently is not going to store
Right.
your stuff. There's a number of ways that you can convert them over into something that you would store. I'm trying to think of the most performant here. But yeah, like this defined data structure, even when I read this right here, it says all data expires at the end of the flow's
Right.
execution unless mapped otherwise, which is what we can
Mhm.
figure out. I'm just trying to figure out the most performant way to do this. Report. So we would need to. So I'm gonna draw on screen for a second. So yeah, data comes in, sort of lightning bolt, like horrible lightning bolt. An analysis happens. We output a packet of data here. But the problem is again, this kind of has a expiration on it, a little clock. In terms of that, when the flow runs, it's not storing that data. So my initial path of least resistance is to create a structure that will absorb that, and you could use some type of list mapping to very easily map it in.
Okay.
And then once you have that, you still have to write it. You just because then that structure still would only exist in the flow. The report you want to go back and look at. So
We did turn on the capture audit data and options on the rule. It's just when it inputs it into the report, it is not easy to break apart into, it's just one large, I'll call it a string of data. So it's not pretty for a report because it's in a list.
mhm. Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Okay, I'm glad.
Yeah. So this is not going to be helpful for us right now. What is another path of least resistance? Or we could store it in decisions to view it later. Yeah, because okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Just because I can do this in like 2 minutes, I'm gonna build out a path of least resistance, and whether or not this is exactly what you want, I'm not sure, but maybe we can at least
Okay.
it'll be informative of moving forward. Um, an initial path of least resistance.
I did think about how to get it to an entity, but I didn't know
Yeah,
how.
yeah.
So,
Let me clear out some of this chicken scratch. So I know in here. Oh, wrong one. That's for favorite foods. You can tell I'm always on. It's always lunchtime because everything I do is food related. Okay, so let's say again, this is not storing it, right? But if I wanted to, um, can I just right click this and create type from it? No. So again, I'm just gonna go path least resistance, and then we can you said you want we'll just do a just for simplicity, we'll do a database structure. You could probably do an entity as well. You'd
hmm
want to think about what the performance impact of what your end goal is. If this data is like, hey, I just want to look at it on a report, I'm never going to do anything with it. I'm never going to perform unique actions. Again, you probably want something in the database structure world. There's kind of a more complexity, less complexity, more impact, less impact kind of spectrum. Again, the case entities are going to have more performance capabilities, but also more performance impact. Database structures is going to be on the other end of that kind of world. I do see here though that defined data structures can dictate if stored or not stored. I need to maybe learn a little bit about that. Let me see if I can find one thing here. Defined data structure.
Oh, I see. Storage option there was in
Yeah.
circled.
Some of that stuff has to be done at creation, though. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Storage option right here, not database stored, database stored.
Okay.
Let's see if this compiles. Maybe it's just that. Maybe you just turn it on. And then that's really easy. All right, so it did compile successfully. Let's see if our flow recognizes that it compiled successfully, because again, I'm on an unstable build right now. All right, so now we're mapping this. Will it even let me? I think we might be good. Because this is going to output a list, right? List of mono, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing to consider though is duplication of things. What is the, can you give me like either an analogy for the use case, or what is the use case? What is coming in and what are you trying to do?
We have requests coming in and authorization requests coming
Okay.
in. And so we have, instead of creating, like I said, multiple statement rules, created the truth table to capture those rules. And then the response from the truth table eventually is sent to our authorization application to say if that product or that service line for the authorization is approved or pending, or that's what we're ultimately doing. But we would like to be able to report off of those results to just track and
Yeah, totally makes sense. All right, let's go back in here. I think it might be just, I think this might actually get it for us
okay.
here. So your truth table is going to output a list of a structure based on how we provisioned it in here. With my current setup, the way I have it, it's only ever going to output one as a list. But let's say hypothetically it does output multiples, which I guess we can do this as well. Here's what we'll do. We'll
I
do
have it
both.
where this one is only outputting one row. So
Okay, cool. Then we're pretty much aligned there.
yeah.
All right, so this is going to output a list of that, and then we're going to save a list of that. Let's see what we got here. So again, we came in here, we saved this, right? Oh, I do want that up here. So we leave this up. Let's go back into that report that I made. Report. There it is. Okay, so there is that data.
Okay. So all you did was turn the save
Yeah, I can redo it for you, for sure. Let's close out this. Sorry. I went
at the data
into,
structure.
yep, so I went into your define data structure, right? I right
Mm-hmm.
clicked and hit edit. And then I believe, where did I click?
Maybe there, database.
Yep, oh, yeah, that is it. So I clicked up here on where it says structure type name to kind of select the whole structure
Okay.
rather than selecting a field. And
Right.
storage option, I turned it to database stored. And then now you'll have
Okay.
the ability to save it. I bet if I reverted this, it would not show up as an option in save
Okay.
entities.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. So that kind of saves us from having to do, because my original thought was to create a structure to absorb it. But again, I'm learning while we're lunching as well. Yeah, I just kind of went in here and I just that differences document said, oh, it can actually be saved, and then just did a little bit of deep diving. But again, you might run into duplicates, but it sounds like based on your use case, based on like administrative assignments and kind of the approval chain type process, every time it runs, you would want it to rewrite because you're not going to have new data running through it. So to me, this makes the most sense. List mapping allows you to convert types pretty easily. That was my original with list mapping. You can say, hey, I have a list. I'll just make a fake one just for your knowledge. So I
Okay.
can finish up my thought here. But let's say let's say that it wasn't working. I could say, okay, my input, I know my input is this type, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also know that I want my output. And again, I don't have an extra, actually I do have a fake structure here. So I'll just give you, let's say I wanted to convert to this other structure with my name on it, right?
Okay.
Once you do that, you can say, hey, I'm taking in this and I'm taking out that. How do I map what to what? It's this item mapping editor, and you go, hey, for every single some of these Zoom controls.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, so and then you over here I could build data and say, hey, for every item name that comes in, I want to add that to favorite foods or or to name, and then date time I want to add to this structured name so that when it comes in, it's going to come in as one type, and then output another type, and then you could save this. I could easily save rather than saving that one. I could say, oh, I don't want to save this one anymore. I'm going to save it as this, and you can still keep them separate, and just save the ones you want. Flow data, this will be from the list mapping output. Again, outputs right there, I'm getting from right here, outputs. So,
Okay.
but again, I think just maybe that one control will help you out so that now you can actually save it. Because in order to report on something, you need to save it. And then once you have this, you could put a run report step and do it that way, or you can just make a report that does get populated here. So,
Yes, that's what I had done so far was create the report. So like
yeah.
where you
Yeah, so if once you have this and once you get this kind of stuff together, yeah, it's just a matter of running
and
the
that's
flow
what I
and
was
then
trying to
writing it.
get to where the individual data fields from the data structure or the output was
Yeah,
selectable.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that solves it for you.
Okay. I think I'm going to give that a try. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and like I said, I'll load this up on the screen real fast, and I'll just, if you want a screenshot, or I can screenshot it and send it to you in the chat. You can save it, but it should be right there.
I'll do-
So I right click to edit it, and then I clicked structure name up here, and you should have storage option just to flip it over and actually be able to store it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That's always nice. All right. So we got some yay product review. Yeah, I agree. Looking for status of GraphQL and decisions. I know that it was slated for 9.8. I think it got pushed to 9.9. I don't think Tyson's in here anymore, but for everyone's information, I know that it was slated. Let me see if I can do a little bit of research there. Oh, it looks like we've already started that. Oh, we've got some GraphQL stuff. So yeah, if Tyson, you are watching this back later, go through documentation would be my recommendation. I mean, the question was any updates to GraphQL, so I don't know what specifically we're looking for, but it looks like nope. Maybe I'm wrong. GraphQL classification. Oh yeah, it's coming. It's good. So I'm actually reading the product chat from the product team from this last week, and they were demoing it. So for those of you that are interested, it is coming down the pipeline in either this next release that comes out at the end of the week, or the following one, which will come out on the 16th, I believe, of April. So there is that information for you. Let's see, Vitaly, are you still here? Hey, Vitaly, do you mind? Can you give me a little bit of insight? I know you put it in the chat. He's not here in the room anymore, so I'll have to just kind of consolidate this information. But maybe I can send him the video with some timestamps. Can you clarify what you put in the chat for me? I know it was related to the initial ask from Jeffrey with the object, but can you kind of clarify?
Yeah, sure. So first message was property classification. 0 is the order and type name is what you would like to see in decisions. If you go, for example, on fetch entities tab, that's where it says type name. So that's where you will be able to see that. And type picker is where you decide which type you want to pick. I know for fetch entities, it's going to be ORM entity. But for decisions type, it should be something like decisions type.
All right. Cool. Thank you, man. It's always nice to get some insights. I know you got some of that SDK stuff.
And
And for those of you that can't read it, that's what he put in chat. So, like I said, I'll forward this to over to Jeffrey. But for those of you that might be listening and you want to know, you can't see the text for some reason. That's
yeah,
what he put in
Robert.
there.
And inside of your method, so basically what you're gonna do is that for that type picker editor, it's gonna save it as a string, and you just create like a decisions type based on that string. It's gonna be type name, and you can use it. So inside of your method, you know which type are you working with.
Cool. Super helpful, man. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And it's always nice, like again, like I kind of have folks in here that are, yeah, we've kind of got a little community of people that do this, and a lot of the folks on your side of the line are, have more insights to some of the like the SDK and stuff because we live in the decisions world. Sometimes, those vacations from the decisions world are a little intimidating. So thank you, man. Any other questions we got? I know we got a few more people in here. I will gladly take another question. I think we've kind of gone through the QA at this point. But I will gladly take another one. With 9.9 coming down the pipeline, coming out at the end of the week, maybe a little bit later, but ideally on Friday. We do have some new stuff. We have a lot more updates to Health Score. So Health Score is almost in all of our designers now at this point. It might be because it was in rules in 9.8, 9.9. It's coming to Page Designer and Report, so you can have insights and decisions best practices with 9.9 for reports and for pages. So even on here, when I go to this 9.9, you'll see some other small quality of life updates, but like report health score, we have a health score up here now. So we're, as you see, like we've kind of in line included a lot of this stuff, tags, validation issues, those kind of things. We've kind of have some new updates to what validation icons look like. We've got lots of stuff coming through the pipeline in that world. We do have a new system as well to kind of monitor your overall health of your project called PATS, which is going to be PATS, which is going to be kind of assessing logs and running in the background decisions to notify you if you have things that are kind of running awry. So again, just trying to keep things up, keep things stable, and make sure that all exceptions are noted and end users and administrators of decisions are aware of what is happening, maybe in the database or the server beneath it. So some of that stuff, like I said, should be coming out on Friday. We have those. Some new, better updates for form designer. So like here in forms, like this is new with 9.8 where you can easily drag stuff, but it's also there's also a lot more stuff in that world to kind of keep you designing quicker. On-demand account creation with assignments. You can create an account when you create an assignment, which is kind of cool. Increase performance and insights into thread jobs. So you're gonna have thread jobs giving you more details about the job itself. And then we have new options for report headers and formatting, just quality of life enhancement. So there's a number of things, but those are just some of the kind of surface level stuff that's easy to talk about. So if we don't have any final questions, I might just kind of go ahead and call it. We have a whole week full of them. I'm always appreciative, again, that folks take their time to join the Lunch and Learn, because I'm sure you're busy working for your company, and it's nice to have folks that are conversational in the little community we have. It's always been nice. It's always a pleasure, and I'm super appreciative. So we don't have any final questions. I'll kind of close it out, but just one friendly reminder that, again, decisions.com/events, we've got tons of new stuff coming down the pipeline. That release notes kind of roadmap, we have a new Submerse, and we have, as you see there, another webinar about Cortex, which is our new accelerator, which I can actually show real quick. It's awesome. If you got a second, folks, this one's really cool. I'll give you the shorthand version of it, but it's an accelerator 9.8 and above called Cortex. I've been working on a project for it. I have it done. It's just waiting for final approval. But essentially what it allows you to do is to really easily, I mean, a little too easily, if you ask me, add documentation and data. So it can be from PDFs, it can be from Excel, it can be from questions. You can then go back and review and make updates, but it essentially allows you to create your own chatbot. So like in Cortex, like you can it's basically the same engine that we built Dart on, our like docbot.decisions.com, or Dr. Hour decisions.com. I got to put this in here. But we trained this using a similar build here, and you can go through and be like, is this question good or not? Right click it. Someone can review it. You can add information back to the database. Say, hey, this is a good answer or not a good answer. And it just kind of continues to swell the repository of information available for the chatbot. And again, it really can't be easier when it comes to kind of adding content. You can just insert a bunch of PDFs. You can insert a spreadsheet with answers, vector database table, but it allows you to create a chatbot. And then that chatbot, the implementation of it is super painless as well. It's really just one single step. It merges. See if I can find it on here. I think I titled it like REST or something. Yeah. With one single REST service call, you can create that Cortex conversation and build UI before, after flows engines. And like I said, it kind of just continually references that repository of information. And as an administrator, you can go in and approve or deny questions and answers and get insights into it. But if that's something that you're interested in, like I said, I have material coming out on the YouTube channel here, probably on the main decisions YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. But it's really awesome. And I've done a lot of this stuff with accelerators. Just making material for it, and this is really one of the easiest ones to set up. It's extremely painless. If you have an Chat or OpenAI key, it's absurdly painless how quick you can do it. And again, it's so easy just to add PDFs, add information, and just kind of keep monitoring. It has all these dashboards built in. Very little setup. It's really, really great. But Cortex is live, and that's what this one's all about. This is what it reminded me of it. Boom. So we have a webinar talking about it as well. Build your own chatbot. Very cool. I didn't get any questions during my little monologue there, so I'm going to go ahead and close it out for the day. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Super appreciative you took the time. We'll see you back tomorrow with one of the other trainers on the training team, but I'm very appreciative. Thank you guys. See you next time. Thank you.